Alright, I'm starting out with a piece of maple. It's about 4.5 inches in diameter and just about 5 inches tall. So it's a piece of straight grain maple. We're going to get it trued up and then get a tenon down on one end of it so we can mount it in the chuck. So I'm going to do a basket illusion project this week, or with this one here. And so most of the ones I've done are kind of basic designs. So we wanted to try something a little bit different, a little more detailed, and so we did some searching. I found one by Harvey Meyer that I really like. So this is inspired by him. It's not exactly the same thing, but I really like the design on it that Robin and I found. So we'll just get this trued up here and then get that tenon down on it. And this is a spindle gouge and lathes running about 2,500 RPM. The easy rougher there to make the tenon, and we'll get it mounted in the chuck and then we can get it beaded. So I'm going to go ahead and go around the whole piece and bead it before we hollow it out. Get all of that done. Help support the companies that support our community. So I just keep working my way around the beading tool, hold it up at a little bit of an angle there, and keep moving your tool rest around until you get them all done. I left the top a little bit. I wasn't quite sure how it was going to work out, but I'll figure that out once I figure out the diameter, the opening there. Whether I need 1 or 2 more beads on that. So I really like doing, I've done a lot of little beaded pots. I really like the basket illusion too, but it is time consuming. But it is a lot of fun. Alright, so we'll switch jaws here real quick. Mount it up and then we can start the hollowing process. And we're going to start with a Forstner bit. Just go ahead and work that down there. And so Forstner bit really cleans out a bunch of the material. It lets you know exactly where the bottom is. You can keep testing it and go down. So it's a nice way to get out a lot of material and get the bottom set before you even start hollowing it. So I'm going to use the threaded rings on this one, and so that diameter of that is what I'm working on right now. We'll put a little bit of a shelf in there to hold on to those. Just testing it and just kind of work my way back and forth until I get a good fit. And then I can add those 2 other little beads there, or it might have just been one after I get this opened up a little bit. So there are a lot of, if you look up basket illusion, there's a ton of really cool stuff out there. I did find a program on Microsoft apps where you can kind of lay it out. I just played around with it a little bit, so I'm not sure how well it works. I'm not a expert in basket illusion, but it seemed like it was pretty cool where you could just kind of put in your design what you wanted, and it shows you what it's going to look like in like 3D. So it was pretty cool. All right, got that all hollowed out. We'll use that recess to grab a hold of it with the chuck and get the foot taken off. It was a little bit wobbly, so I loosened everything back up and realigned it there so it's running true. Get most of the material off with the number 1 hollower here, and then come in with the detailer to clean up that last little nub. And just make sure the bottom's concaved a little bit so it sits nice and flat. And I ran through all the grits on the bottom here. So as far as the beads go, you don't sand those, maybe with 400 or 600, a little bit in between them, but that's about it. And I use the wire burner to burn all the lines on the beads and then set up the wood burner. So I have it in this little block. It's the bit I have is straight, so it's a nice little quick way to do it. These lines like this, you just set that platform up so the tip is right on center, and then you just use your indexing system on the lathe to go around. And I used every hole on mine, and it's 48, so I did 48 lines around it. And it works pretty slick. It does take some time, so I worked my way around. I'm trying to think of how long it took, but it was quite a while. I don't know, half an hour or so at least to go all the way around it. This is gonna be the lid. So we're going to get that lid to line up perfectly with the base. So I want to get all of that done before I start doing anything. So that little disc right there, I have a couple other videos showing those little discs and why I make them. And I'll explain that a little bit once we get closer to that. But it's so you can line the grain up, or in this case, the pattern. And there's no chance of your rings getting epoxied in. And I'll show you how it all works towards the end. So just made a little recess for that. Got it all set. Same thing with this. Just take your time. Make sure it fits in there nice and tight, and then we can start shaping the lid. I kind of cupped out the center of it because I'm making a little dome lid for this one. You don't have to do that. It's just I was trying to reduce the weight a little bit. Now, there we go. Popped right in. Now I'm going to go ahead and take off the material on the outside and just kind of start shaping the top of the lid. But we'll flip it around here in a second and give it its final shape after we get it parted off. So that little recess that we made for that disc is what we're going to use to remount it back on the lathe again. And that way we can turn the top of it. So like I said, I just domed this over, and then we're going to bead this as well. And again, just used the beading tool and went all the way around. I did leave a little spot on the top where it was flat. And I'm just gonna, at the end, I'm gonna color that actually just black. And then I used the wire burner again to burn all the lines around it in between the beads. And so on the curved surface, like the front of it, the wire burner won't go around it. A piece of wire won't burn it. So playing cards, I doubled up a couple of them, and they work fantastic for this. I set the wood burner back up, and same process here. This one didn't take me quite as long because it's a lot smaller, but went through the indexing system and burn all the lines all the way around it. So I'm going to epoxy in the threaded rings now. So that little wooden disc, we're going to epoxy it to that disc, that little tenon on there. And this way, we're going to epoxy in the female one down onto the base of it here. That's all separate. Then we're going to do the other one on the tenon. So that way, there's no chance of the epoxy, epoxying them together. And that disc is going to help us line the pattern up when we're done, because we're going to put some wood glue on the back side of it there, and that way we can spin the whole lid any way we want to get it to line up, and it's not, the wood does not, or the epoxy doesn't touch anything. It's just wood glue. Screw it down tight. Even if you're trying to match your grain up, this is a perfect way to do it. Put a little bit of wood glue in there, just using a Q-tip. And then you just set the lid on that little disc that you made and spin it to exactly where you want it. The threads are already together. Spin it, line it up, and let it set up, and you're done. So as far as coloring goes, this is hours and hours of work. So I didn't try and put all that in. It's just me starting it and then finishing it up. So I will put a link down below in the description of the type of pins you should use. They don't bleed. They work fantastic. So I did a red and black on the two colors on it, and just took my time, went in the house a lot, and worked under the lamp. It does take quite a while to do it. And just find a pattern you like, lay it out with a pencil first so that you know it's all going to line up and you like what it's going to look like, and then grab the pins and start going. But I really like the design on this one. Like I was saying, the ones I've done before were pretty simple little designs, but I like the way this one came out. There we go. It's about 4.5 inches in diameter and almost 5 inches tall. So I've done quite a few little basket illusion things, but they were just kind of like spiral patterns and stuff. And Rob and I found this one from Harvey Meyer, and we love the look of it, so I thought I'd do something similar to that. It does take a lot of time when you get into doing stuff like this, different from like just a spiral, but it was a really fun project. There's a ton of people out there doing amazing basket illusion stuff. Michael Early, he's actually teaching at Mark Adams here coming up, I believe, next month. So it's super cool. There's a ton of stuff to look up online if you want to get into basket illusion. I will put a link down below to like the pins I used and the wood burner and stuff like that. As far as the insert goes, I'll put a link or a video of how I make those and why I started making them too. It really, as far as lining up a pattern or the grain, it makes it so easy. You just epoxy your rings onto those things, put that on there, and then you can turn it anywhere you want to line the grain or the pattern up, and there's no chance of it epoxying to get together. But super fun project. All right. Hope you enjoyed it. Everybody take care, and we will see you next time.